if money were a person, and it were to describe the way you spend it, the way you relate with it on a day-to-day basis, what will it have to say about you?
Money is one of the most important subjects of your entire life. Some of life's greatest enjoyments and most of life's greatest disappointments stem from your decision about money. Whether you experience great peace of mind or constant anxiety will depend on getting your finances under control. Hey, wadau det, leo tunaongea pesa. Today, I want us to talk about discipline when it comes to finances and financial literacy. Bado tuko hii maeneo ya Rongai, place inajita Empiri's House. Yes, Empiri's House. Yeah, thank you for the hospitality. Nika get away pali hapo hivyo Rongai, so if you want to get away, tafuta hii hao man, place fiti sana. Yeah, so leo tuongejea pesa. Acha tuone kama tutaomoka. So in my class today, Phillips University, today I'm going to be learning about financial literacy and personal financial decisions from a gentleman who is a holder of an MBA in Business Education Arts from Moi University, also has a master's in linguistics, and is currently pursuing a PhD in applied linguistics at Moi University. Applied linguistics. Yeah, I'm curious to learn what that is. He's also a personal financial coach, and he founded a company called Chacha Nyaigoti mentorship and coaching program in 2017 with the cardinal aim of transforming people's lives in order to build a more socio-economically empowered society. He has a deep passion in personal finance, leadership, and personal development. And he authored this amazing book right here. Close that, if you can get that. Awesome. Right. It's called Mastering Your Money. And this is one thing I struggle with personally. So I've had to learn the hard way. So in my journey of becoming a CEO, I need to master my money. And so I wanted to talk to the master of mastering my money. His name is Chacha Nyaigoti Bichang'a. Karibu sana. Soon to be doctor. Can't wait.
Yes, thank you.
Oh my goodness. So, tuseme wewe ndio unakuja kunionyesha vile nitatengeneza pesa.
And we share knowledge about personal finance.
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you so much for honoring our invite. We, as Africans, as Kenyans, as Africans, I don't know. I don't know where we got this notion that money is evil. Sijui nani alitudanganya hivyo. And so money is a topic that we don't like discussing openly. Like, it's very hard to ask someone how much they make, you know. And I feel because of that, most of us don't know how to master our money. We don't know how to save, how to invest. And so this is a very bold topic that you're venturing into. Mulipatana wapi na pesa, na kama ziko nyingi unaweza nigawia tafadhali.
Thank you, Philip, as you have put it. The subject of money, you know, is very emotive, very controversial, and actually most misunderstood. As you have said, we have grown up being told that money is scarce, money is evil. For example, can you remember some of the first things you learned about money? For example, if you are given money, perhaps to buy something, you don't bring loose change. What were you told if you squandered it, if you lost it? Can you remember some of the statement from your parents?
One, ilikuwa vita. Two, the one I remember ni ungekula pesa ya sadaka.
Yes.
The one I never understood was atukipata pesa chini, uokote, utapata ni nyoka, ama ni paka, ama ni shetani.
Yes. You know. So that tells us how we are socialized to fear this important thing or commodity we call money. You know, for example, I remember from my childhood actually, I had experiences that really left an indelible mark on my mind about money. For example, if I would be sent to the shopping center to buy less a kilo of sugar, bar of soap, and being a child, you're tempted to buy some biscuits, some donuts, some dazi, and then you claim that the loose change was lost and was beaten, told that, do you know how hard it is, that the money does not grow on trees, that money is scarce. So we grew up actually fearing to interact with this commodity or item we call money. And actually, this subject really, when I became of age, finished schooling, started earning my own money, I realized, okay, money slips through my hands. I'm not having control of it. Always complaining that I'm earning little. And even that I'm calling little, I can't put my hands on it. That partly explains why I had to take a deliberate step to study this subject, personal finance, which is hardly taught in school. And even if it's taught, it's for purposes of passing exams. So this is very controversial, as I've said. And as such, I've studied money extensively. Actually, I'm a product of self-education. I'm a student of life when it comes to money. And that's why actually I've authored the book, Master Your Money. It is a process. Mastering is a process. It's not a destination. It is a journey that you have to purposefully undertake to learn how, for example, money works, basic principles like saving, budgeting, tracking your money. For example, when you were young, were you taught on how to save?
Kuna mkebe tuliletewa, but like there was no purpose to the saving, so I'd put it there and I'd still spend it on ice cream or something.
Yes, that's why I say the subject of money is actually hardly positively talked about in our families when taking meals at dinner. It's not possibly talked about even in church places, in the church we go to. What is quoted is only the negative part and the differences from the Bible. Even the mass media does not teach us the right knowledge about money. The school system doesn't teach that. Therefore, where can one learn about this? Unless one now purposefully decides to learn from others, from mentors, from the coaches, from trainers, particularly on this subject of money. There are other important life skills besides money. But my focus basically has been on money because it has been giving me a great challenge when it comes to maybe saving, investing, budget. I didn't know the importance of budgeting. I thought budgeting is actually for mices, for people who have a lot of money. I didn't know something to do with investing, that you needed to first invest in yourself, invest in your mind, before you invest on those tangible commodities or products, and they call them real estate, portfolio, whatever, income, and so on. So when you become deliberate in this case, you get to learn what money is or how it works, because we spend most of our time chasing money, moving from one job to the other. The reason being, we are taught thinking that when you get, for example, a six-figure salary, your problems are over. I would like to tell you who actually did set me on the path towards learning about money. I would say, I think you have come across this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki. That is a book that actually one of my students, I'm a teacher by profession, I'm a lecturer for that matter, shared this book with me. And I read, and he told me something that nobody had ever told me, that school does not teach us the right things. It tells us, work hard, get good grades, get a good paying job. Then what happens? That is the end of the game. But that is not what the rich and the wealthy teach their children. So through the knowledge I gathered from Robert Kiyosaki, I started reading. I never used to read self-help books, particularly on personal finance or any other. I started looking for personal coach, started attending a training, spending to invest in myself first, investing in my mind. That is now the game changer. I don't know whether you have ever been told about that.
About investing?
About money generally. If you were you taught that in school, for example?
No, by who? in fact, when I started running my company, taxes. And so where I am at in life, I'm like taxes should be compulsory. I think right from Form 1, you know, if every adult in Kenya, once you attain the age of 18, you start paying some form of taxes to the government, yet no one is taught about taxes. And the little that is taught is to pass exams, as you've said, you know. So thank you. As in, money is something no one has ever taught me.
So from now, be deliberate.
Yes.
Start with the basics. Basics is, for example, when you began this morning, how much money do you put in your pocket? Or when you ended yesterday, how much money did you finish the day with? Just like running a business, you must know the closing balance and starting balance. The same way with your life. Being the CEO of your life, the CEO of your money, you have to take notice of your money. For example, notice how much money you ended the day with when you arrive at home, the loose change. You have to know how much the closing balance, so that when you begin the following day, you know the starting balance. And therefore you start actually accounting for every shilling where it goes. Basic things. And you know, this means that, okay, when you track your money, that is for many people. It is for people who have a lot of money. Those are misconceptions. The moment you begin tracking your money, monitoring where every shilling goes, then you are beginning the journey of mastering your money. It is not rocket science. It is doing those simple things that are difficult, by the way, to do. Like now, monitoring. And then when you start monitoring, now you start recording. And then you have had something called voted. So once you record every expense, for example, how much you have used for transport, how much you have used for lunch, how much, for example, you have sent somebody, you helped somebody, you bought some items, you record down. But at the end of the week, you have voted. For example, this was for my personal upkeep, this was for domestic maybe consumption, this was for extended family, this for giving, for example, donation to the church, charity. This was actually the charges, the M-Pesa transaction, bank charges. You have that is a voted of their own airtime, the bundles. How much that is a voted head. You have that. How much you pay for rent and so on. And those are actually simple steps that I captured in the book about basic principles and templates for budgeting. So when you summarize them by the end of the week, now you have to submit voted. So at the end of the month, you draw a financial statement of the income and expenditure, right? And you know where your money goes, so that you know your priorities of setting goals. For example, how do you achieve your financial goals if you don't know where every money goes? You know, the goals show what you value most. For example, you want, for example, to buy a good car, a home. You must be purposive. Your spending, daily spending must reflect that. Your saving must reflect that. And therefore, if it's not captured, you know, what actually is not written down. They say what is not scheduled never gets done. If you don't write and monitor, you will not achieve your goals. You'll be saying, oh, well, the year has been bad. For example, we are living in the era of the COVID-19 pandemic. You will be blaming COVID-19 like any other person.
But the problem is not COVID. The problem is you never learned.
You actually say the problem begins with me, myself.
I, again, researching and reading about great leaders and great CEOs, so I came across that they count their money. Rich people count their money every day, and you've just said that, you know,
What if they do so? For example, why would they bother to count?
Clearly, because they are rich, they know something we don't. So if they're doing that, if they're doing that, we also need to be doing that. Another concept I came across is just like yours, like, why am I always broke? Where is my money going? So I came across another guy, and he's like, just go print your statements for the month. Right? So we sat there with my statements. Okay. How many times has money been credited to your account? I'm like, once. And how many times did money move out of your account? Hey, list inaendelea hadi huku kote. You say these things have to balance. The number of times money is coming to your account needs to match the number of times money is going out. And so I started learning about many income streams, having numerous income streams as well, and also saving. But that's, oh my goodness.
Yes.
Is it? Sasa kuna wengine wanasemanga mimi ukianza kuniambia mambo ya pesa unaninyima raha. kuna wale watu over the weekend I want to enjoy my weekend. I have worked hard and here you are telling me account for every shilling and be purposeful. What do you advise someone like that? Because we also don't want to spend our lives ukijinyima.
So yes, the essence is not actually to deny yourself what you rightfully deserve. The essence is to be sure that you will achieve the most important things that you value in life. You know, you have to make a choice. Life is about making choices, and choices have consequences. Yes. You have to decide whether you want to spend your tomorrow today, or you spend your today tomorrow. You make a choice. Yeah. And every choice, if you spend your tomorrow now, it means you want to live a comfortable life, yet you have not set the journey, you have not laid the foundation. You have not actually said, these are my goals, and you have to balance actually now so that you know how much money, how much of your total incomes, for example, go to the saving for investment, for retirement for that matter. So that one, if you spend now, actually, you are today, tomorrow, you are foregoing some of the wants. You know, you have to know the difference between needs and wants. Yes. The needs are things you cannot do without. For example, you need food, you need clothes, you need shelter, you need the right education. Yeah. The wants are things we do for us to feel comfortable. You want a good car, you want a good home, you want to go for nice treats, nice holiday. If you start with those actually wants now and you forget about the needs, then you are spending your tomorrow today instead of your today tomorrow. You have to set your priorities right. Yes. And actually for the person who does not know, say that, why should I budget? I need to live my life fully. You know, this one goes back to the childhood experiences. You know, we have a relationship with money, whether you like it or not. Do you know that you have a relation with money? Whether you are, whether you know it.
I think hanipendi sana, but
yes, the relationship is either good or bad, healthy or unhealthy. How do you know it? If money were a person and it were to describe the way you spend it, the way you relate with it on a day-to-day basis, what will it have to say about you?
Oh, that is amazing.
That is food for thought. So if, for example, I asked you whether you track and whatnot, if you don't know where every shilling goes, I know you are a God-fearing person, you are disciplined, and you have a good evaluation of yourself. But if you do not actually take account of your money, if you are not transferring to a soul, then do you expect the money also to respect you? Because the basic rules are simple. If you don't respect the money, in return, money will not respect you. So you have to be deliberate. The relationships here, you have to know how you develop a relationship with the money by actually checking on your day-to-day basis. And you can check what you have written down. You can't remember if you haven't how you spent your money last week, last month, and a few months ago and last year. If you have it written down, it's easier to analyze and assess. You have to be deliberate. And you know that one is very boring. That's why most people don't do it. You have rightly put it that rich people count their money. Why would they do that and yet they make a lot of money? They know the basic principles that govern money. They have never changed. If you have read books like The Richest Man in Babylon, they have never changed. So in this case, the relationship with money here you have, if actually you cannot take account, you cannot account for your money, then your relationship with money is questionable. Then money may not regard you as a good friend.
That is where the toxic relationship started.
Some of us have what we call a love-hate relationship with money. Yes. Okay, we get it once, you get a windfall, you get a contract, you get some money, you are on cloud 9. You are up, everybody will know, by the way, that you have money. But that is now having that love relationship. But when you are broke, when the money ends all of a sudden, you are bitter. Bitter about your employer, bitter about the responsibility you have, bitter about your family, bitter about your wife and children. So that's a love-hate relationship. And in this case, what we need to do, go back to our child's experiences. You know, it is a vicious circle. You must have this meeting between me, myself, and I. a meeting with money. You sit down, set time, reflect, even go back. Because we say childhood experiences influence your beliefs about money, your thoughts and the patterns. Like actually here, one person says by name T. Harv Eker, is the writer of The Secrets of Millionaire Mind, says we are programmed in three main ways when it comes to money. One is verbal programming. What did you hear when you were young about money? For example, you're told money is scarce, money is evil, money does not grow on trees. And then we come to modeling. What did you see your parents do? Were they quarreling about money? What do you see other people relate or do with money? So what you saw, that is actually a part of the modeling. And that is, it takes place unconsciously. Number three is your personal experiences. For example, when you are sent, you are beaten, told that money does not grow on trees, money is difficult to come by, you have to work hard, to get a good job, period. And these experiences now, for example, when you were in school, perhaps you were in a boarding school, your money was stolen. You cried bitterly. You saw thieves, for example, in the streets being beaten mercilessly. That forms actually what the personal experiences you had about money. So the verbal statements you had constitute verbal programming. The modeling is what you used to observe, and the experiences you had personally yourself influence your beliefs about money. For example, you started believing money is something bad, something difficult. You have to work hard, looking for money, chasing money, and that influences what you think on a day-to-day, because the beliefs influences the thoughts, and the thoughts now lead to the actions, the patterns. For example, you find now, okay, you have a job, you have your own business, for example, you get money, it slips through your hands, you are always complaining because of the childhood experience that money is scarce. You develop a scarcity mindset. So you have to know that vicious circle, it goes around like that. So for you to understand the way you relate to money, go back to your childhood experiences, how they informed your beliefs, your thoughts, and your actions. What you are doing currently is a sum total of the way you were brought up.
It's so interesting. This is a conversation I think I was having last week. So I've been born and brought up in the ghetto. Nimezaliwa Dandora. So, and until last week, I never realized I have a poor person's mentality. Because of how I was brought up and how I was socialized. I was even having a conversation with my crew just today in the morning. I was telling them, the first time I got on a plane was just 5 years ago. But I started earning way back. But in my head, because of how I grew up, ndege ilikuwa ndio mtu apande ndege lazima tuitwe family mzima na clan mzima tuchange for that air ticket. Ndio, I think in my life as a child, I think I only ever saw one cousin flying out. So for me, flying was that thing. It never occurred to me you can actually just go purchase an air ticket, go somewhere, and so now I am learning a lot of things, and what you're saying is very true. Like the concepts and myths of money, it's all up here, and we have to unlearn, and it has to be intentional. So acha tuachane na pesa kidogo. I know you can talk about money the entire time. I'm always curious when I sit across gentlemen like yourself, like what set you in this path? Are we predestined to be successful? And I'm always curious, like what conversations did you have with your mom and your dad as you were growing up, and that shaped you? Because you're a model stand-up citizen, as from where I'm sitting, and natakanga tu kujua, do we get it wrong right from the word go, and what did your parents do correctly? Just a bit of your journey, like from childhood to where you are right now.
Thank you. As I've actually already put it, actually the way we raise money is a product of our childhood experiences. Okay, I grew up in a number family back in my rural village. Just like any child in my days, the school system was also basically traditional. And while growing up, actually, my parents, I appreciate that they did instill in me some good values, being disciplined, being duty conscious, doing tasks diligently, being responsible, waking up early, going to school at the required time, weekends, going into the shamba, digging, picking by retlang, and so on. And they did discourage me about bad company, which I never used to understand. When you are a child, when you are restricted from playing with other children in the neighborhood, you feel so bad. During my time, where I come from, actually, we had plenty of playing fields. And like nowadays, we used to play this locally made football. Yeah, I used to love that. And I used to want actually to have problem with my parents. I could run away, have time, maybe assign a task and whatever. I used to be actually reprimanded and actually beaten for moving with a bad company my boys or not having done. And I think that later on I came to understand that choosing your friends wisely is something that is very important, and is something that my parents instilled in me, although at that time I was not seeing the need. So you grew up, I can't blame them for not having taught me the right money lessons, because this knowledge was not maybe important then. They also didn't have it. Society has changed, and we cannot actually be fixated and blame our parents for our problems. We are adults, and the meaning of an adult is actually somebody who is responsible. You take personal responsibility. If you didn't learn this, what are you doing about it? So I thank my parents for instilling me in discipline, to work hard, to respect other people, to know how to relate with other people. And I worked hard in school, and I didn't disappoint them. I, of course, had good grades. I went to university from actually a village secondary school, being the only student who made it to university actually in close to mid-90s, and got a job. But I realized that is not everything. Then I started saying, no, working hard, getting good grades, getting, for example, a good job is not the end. It's a means to the end. And therefore I started now saying, no, let me learn what I was not taught in school. And you have seen, I've not done business in my degree, in my master's. No, I'm actually a person, I'm a trained professor. Actually, I did my Bachelor of Education, Arts, English Literature, taught in secondary for 13 years before joining Garissa University, where I've been teaching for the 7th year now. And actually, even my professional, whatever, even my further education is in linguistics, but I've realized that is not the end in itself. I'm also learning. I'm a product of self-taught self-education. I've attended personal financial trainings with various coaches and mentors. I've even employed personal coaches to coach me and teach me. I read a lot in personal finance. I've attended mentorship programs, and I've realized that that's now part of the journey. I also discovered actually my purpose. In fact, the book I've written, Mastering My Money, is part of the discovery of my purpose. What is this that I can do effortlessly without straining? I realized I've been sitting on a huge potential that has been untapped for many years. That I have the ability to write, and I've never written a book. And I'm in my mid-40s. See? And this is the first actually book I've penned down. Yeah. So, and I credit actually one Dr. Kinyang'anga through his Sense of 101 mentorship program for helping me discover that way. I can, using my knowledge, I can mentor, I can teach. And that is why I've narrowed it down to personal finance. And I've actually written a book so that I coach, I train and teach people basics that we do ignore. But basic principles that govern wealthy creation. Yeah, and that is what the journey actually is. I thank my parents because they inculcated in me the deep desire and love for knowledge.
You have, nimekuwa nikisikia ukimention university mid-90s, teaching 13 years. You are in your mid-40s, but you have the frame of a very young man. So
okay, thank you.
that's amazing. So I can clearly tell you're very particular about your diet and working out. I'm assuming.
Yes.
Am I assuming correctly?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah. This is interesting. Every person I have sat with on this table, and they've achieved some form of success or gotten to know their purpose or are leaders in their companies, are very particular about their diet and exercise. At what point did you realize that I need to watch what I eat? And
yeah, when I started actually reading, I started reading, becoming a voracious reader from 2013, end of 2013.
all right.
Because I read Rich Dad Poor Dad from September 2013, I remember. And the beginning, January 2014, I started reading and attending coaching. And when you read these many self-help books, you get to learn those who have succeeded, what do they do? Actually, I realized on my own, I normally used to exercise, even when in the bathroom, any small space.
Yes.
I don't know why I was doing it, but I realized it's something good. And it is part of my daily routine. I realized even that I realized, okay, drinking, I don't drink, but I can take a few and with a friend, but I don't have that urge, and I don't like that. I realized, okay, that is important if you want to live a long life, because people are married are very intentional about their diet, about exercise. That one, actually, I do that every day. Unless maybe I'm traveling on a journey, I do around 30 minutes indoor. I don't do the workouts and whatever, but indoor. I have even a rope, I do rope skip and jump and so on. That's when I started doing, and it has become an habit. Habits become a routine.
Yes.
Starting a new habit is the challenge.
Yeah.
But now when you do it consistently for 3 months or so, when you don't do it, you feel guilty.
Very true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very true. So, leaders are intentional about their money. They're intentional about their lifestyle, that is health-wise in terms of what they eat and what they exercise. They're very intentional about family and the amount of time they spend with family. And just going through your book, you have 4 children.
Yes.
And a wife. And their names just tell me you are so intentional, because I don't even know who is a daughter, who is a son, but you have a child called Garang.
Yes.
I'm assuming this is from, you named...
After the South Sudanese founder, the John Garang, who was a president for only 3 weeks.
Sorry?
President the founder of
South
Sudan. He became a president 3 weeks and he died.
I know. You have a child called Ocampo.
Yes.
I know Kenyans know that name. You have another child called, oh my God. Anan, yes. Anan and Michelle. I'm assuming this is from Michelle Obama.
Yes.
So you're very intentional about how you name your children.
Yes.
These 4 characters, how have they impacted you to a point where you name your kids after them?
Yes, as I pointed out, actually, I'm very passionate about personal finance, leadership, and personal development. Leadership, I also, great leaders, I admire them a lot.
Yeah.
Like Dr. John Dimapio Garang. He was the leader of the SPLM movement that fought for over 20 years to fight for the liberation of South Sudan. And that man actually led to the path of a country. And the fruits of what he fought for are being enjoyed by others, not necessarily. He didn't have the time to enjoy because he died, unfortunately, in a plane crash. So I realized my first born son, born 5th August 2005. That was barely a week or so when Garang met his untimely death. And I saw having that is leaves a mark and of the person I was following keenly, and we were mourning about his death. Coming into now, the 2 are twin boys. Anan and Okamba are twin boys. I call them principals, 2 principals. In fact, you would ask, I would have named them Raira and whatever, and the Kibaki at the time. But now I chose to go for Anan being the peacemaker. One of the twin boys, I call him Barak Anan, Bichang'a. So I call him peacemaker. Anan for me is peacemaker. Barak means blessings. Also, it's a bit of it is borrowed from Barack Obama anyway. So the other one, I call him Penado Camp. I call him prosecutor. And this, I got their 2 principals. They are twin boys in grade 4 now. And this, when I look at them, I'm seeing 2 principals sharing power. And actually, those people played a key role in restoring our country to normalcy after the 2007 post-election violence. So they remind me of that historical whatever event in our country. Michelle, of course, we know Michelle is actually my daughter, who is 3.5 years old. And Michelle, I've read her autobiography, Becominng. And I look at that girl, and she also, when I read Michelle's whatever, I see corresponding traits, being thorough, being serious, and so on. And I felt actually, I call Michelle my daughter First Lady. Actually, Michelle to me is First Lady. Lady. Yes. That's how people played a key role, and
For a man to be that detailed in naming their children, then that means you're also very keen on their development, and I will rightly assume you're not the fathers we grew up with. The fathers were to be seen. They'd walk in, mnyi wengine mnakimbia, and then kuna kiti ya daddy. How much do you interact with your kids, and have you started teaching them about money?
Of course. One of the lessons that I learned from Rich Dad Poor Dad by one Robert Kiyosaki is that when you get this knowledge about how money works, you first teach it to your family, teach it to your spouse, teach it to your children, and teach others. I had to begin teaching. In fact, my children have different bank accounts where they save. And in fact, for your surprise, when I was launching Master Your Money on 31st October at the Clarion Hotel, the Garang spoke and surprised people. He received a standing ovation for having read 15 self-help books in 5 months. Wow. Besides what is in Form 1, by the way. Yes. But I encourage you also to read books beside what is actually the school knowledge. I want you to have his savings, we moved from saving in a bank account to mutual funds. Then from there, I told him to choose one of the counters at the Nairobi Security Exchange. He chose Safaricom. So he has shares with the Safaricom. So being the first one, I have to teach them. Even the other boys have cab accounts. In fact, we have been saving, and whereas the interest is low, we have moved the money to the mutual money market fund, and they save that. Every time I go home, like now, I will be heading actually after this or tomorrow. They have to give me the money. They are with their mother and whatever. I double the money and I put whatever. Every 3 months we take it to the account. We save. And that money, they will only access it when they are 18. I presume by that time they will have learned now about saving and investing. By the time they are 18, they know where to invest the money or to start any business of their own. The moment now they would, I'm a custodian of their bank. So when they they will be given their money. And now they will have to use it for whatever purpose they intend to. Because by 18 years, they will have acquired the right knowledge. So what I learned, I teach my family members, even my wife, how to save and so on. In fact, even my sisters, and in fact, I have one brother who is in US, and this is something I teach them. In fact, when we are meeting over Christmas, my sisters, I'm their treasurer. Every month, they save a certain amount. In fact, even 500. By the end of the year, 6,000. I double that and then give them to do whatever they like. Because I feel, that one is one way of helping them, other than maybe calling me that maybe they have fees, they are running whatever, they want to start something. I encourage them to save, and I double. I'm helping them to start actually be on their own. Teaching them maybe how to fish gradually.
Oh my goodness. It is so important. Whether we like it or not, money makes the world go round. And we just have to master our money.
It is the pillar, by the way. The glue that holds other pillars of life. The relationship pillar. Talk of the financial, we are talking of the economic pillar, that the mental, emotional pillar. All others are hinged on money. It's the glue. And this truth we are never told until we become papas and deliberate to learn that. Money is good. Okay, money, the love of money is idolatry. What about the lack of money? So we are not actually, it's good. You should not love money, of course. Neither you should not find solace in scarcity, in lack of it. Money does the things that it can do. It can pay the bills. It can provide you the comfort you need. So money is good. And the money is not scarce. It only changes hands, changes residence. Yes, it changes residence. There are those who attract money like a magnet. Every day we wake up, we build other people's factory, other people's industry. For example, if you have a car, you go to the filling station, you are boarded lesser mat, you are building the other people's transport industry and whatever. But what about your factory? What about your industry? How can you build it? It's through paying yourself first.
Yeah.
That money you save is what you pay yourself. Paying yourself first is different from treating yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
That one you should get it clear. Yeah. So it's very important. The money you save for the order, that is now paying yourself. And we have basic rules for that. Yeah. I think you have heard of the 80-20 rule. Yeah, we have had a Pareto principle.
Yes. But just expound it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 80-20 rule is basically simple and it's not cast in stone. It says, 20% of your earnings contributes to your wealth. 20% that you save. That the 20% of your total income or the total money should be channeled to a saving account. 80% for other needs. You don't begin with 80%. By the way, you don't spend then save. You will have nothing left to because the money is never enough.
Pay yourself first.
You save as the first expense. Yes. When you receive any money, and this one should sink into your subconscious, the first thing is how much are you setting aside? What percentage? You unaitoa kwanza before you start to say, oh, I need something, I should pay somebody. No, let the bills remain, let the debts remain. First expense, pay yourself first, 20%. 20% of the money that you are saving will contribute to 80% of your wealth.
Wow.
And 20% is a small portion anyway. And that one varies according to your age and according to your needs. It's not casting, so you can vary it. You can vary it to 30%, 70, 60, 40, 50, 50. But saving comes first.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a good relationship with money, and for you to save clearly, you must have an even better relationship with your wife.
Yes.
Because as a family man myself, and just talking to other family men, the hardest bit when it comes to saving is when you and your wife are not in sync. Ulimwingizaje box muanze kusave.
It is not an easy task because when we are doing courtship, we even don't know what we go for when we are looking for a spouse and whatnot. Tunapenda mtu macho tu unasema okay. But one of the things, and I advise the young people before they settle down to marriage, they take time, they know their habits, even the financial habits of the other person, know whether it is in sync with their goals. Because here, it's very difficult to change somebody. You can only change yourself. You can only change it. So with my wife, okay, it has been a journey. And these things I learned actually, let's say, when we are actually 10 years into our marriage, because our marriage is around 15 years, also 16. Yeah, it's much later that now I'm learning also. I didn't know this early bit. If I knew, perhaps the choices would have been different. But I've also taken time to teach about whatever saving, about investing and so on. Initially when you speak in the family, they think this person is a joker. Huyu jamaa ni kama ako mean. Ni huyu jamaa hata do. But nowadays they are seeing me serious. When they saw me about a book, they came for my book launch, they were there. They are giving testimony. My wife gave a story. My son is there speaking. It becomes a reality now. And I tell them, okay, what we have been saying, doing here, others are doing it. It is now, it is a legacy.
Yes.
In fact, if you want to watch, you can watch YouTube, my book launch, Chachanomics YouTube. You can watch a few clips. So I actually just began to see the sense of why, for example, we needed to write it down. We have to budget and see which are the needs, which are the wants, which are our priorities, and which are actually our wants, which maybe can be met once our priorities have been met.
Babe, kuja tuandike budget. Oh, wow. I've come to you as Philip. I want you to coach me. How does that first meeting go? Like how, when I walk into your organization, into Chachanomics.
What we normally do, first we have a general conversation. We have to break the ground, we know one another. We don't get this serious the first time. We share and then we draw, for example, a program, maybe a schedule. I would have to know your needs. What do you want? What are challenges you face generally?
Yes.
Without any formality. And then from there, we actually embark on a schedule. Maybe later on I will share with you the schedule, the blueprint, and some of the topics we look at. That is a major little. Once you have agreed, well, and you are intentional, you have made a bold step to consult me. So I take you as a serious client, and this is now the one-on-one coaching. So what we do, we lay the ground first, and then the program schedule. And the first thing is, is to understand your financial position. Yeah. So then maybe the first lesson now, when in other interaction, financial position, is where do you stand currently? How much money do you earn? What are the sources of income? How do you spend your money on average, even if you don't record? Yeah. So you have to understand your financial position first. And then after understanding your financial position, that is the income and the expenditure. So you can draw something like a rough template. And from there, you will start now becoming purposeful to track. Because you realize even if you can't say how much do you spend on this and that, it becomes the first real challenge. And then we go to the goals. What goals have you set, for example? Because I work with what you give, setting personal financial goals. So like you say, if it's at the beginning of the year we are meeting now, which goal did you set? How far have you got in achieving them? So we see where there are challenges, where there is a mismatch. Then we embark on setting other goals. Maybe we have the short term, the long term and medium, the medium term and long term goals. Then we go down now to basics of budgeting now, tracking your expenses, in other subsequent lessons. And then as we do that, also I advocate that you invest in yourself. You have to be purposeful to acquire personal financial education. I have to give you the kinds of books maybe you start reading, because it doesn't just happen. We have first of all work on the mind. Maybe give you a book, one or two, read, and maybe give me a brief summary later on. So I like assignment reading. It's continuous as you read. You're also learning. So that as we are looking at this, you are also reading, so that you see how others have done. So whatever I'm telling you is not rocket science. It is something simple that has been done for many years. We are not reinventing the wheel. Yes. Yeah.
We're going to have contacts on how you can reach Chacha and his company, Chacha Nomics. So please, if you want to 2021 tuanze hii journey pamoja, the contacts will be there on your screen and in the description hapo kwa YouTube page. I think we can talk about money over and over again.
And one thing I want to remind you, the book talked about, the first chapter is my financial journey that describes my childhood experience to date. Yeah. Right. The book has 3 parts. One is putting money into perspective. That's part 1, which has 3 chapters, my financial journey. Demystifying the concept of money, looking at the myths we have had over time, and then with the facts. And then understanding your relationship with money. That's chapter 3 of part 1. Then we move to the common personal financial problems I call stressors. You can even name them. These are very common. The commonest being the trouble and shame of debt. Hey, debt.
Two apps, watu wamejaza kwa simu.
They pop up anytime, and you're told in less than even 12 hours, you have 20, 30, 50 shillings right there at your fingertips. Who doesn't want money anyway? Somebody says that modern day slaves are not in chains, but there are people enslaved in the trouble of debt.
Very true. There's spending without a budget, misguided investments, fear of taking risks, working without a definite purpose, inability to cope with disaster. Like you've captured it.
COVID-19 is there now. This is the book of the time. The book was published just 1st October this year. So that is where we are.
Then part 3, pillars of mastering your money. That's amazing. Understanding your financial position, setting financial goals, developing a culture of saving and investing.
Not just saving for the sake.
No, not just saving. All right. Protecting your property.
That is where the rubber meets the road. Protect. How do you can work so hard, and your property, your wealth goes up in smoke one day. Yes. That begins the estate management, writing a will. If I may ask you, do you have a will?
No.
Why? reason being.
Sina kitu ya kuacha.
See, that is the first misconception, first misunderstanding about will. People think that a will is a Western concept, that it's not African. And here that is not the case. That a will is for people who are rich, people who are married, people who have a lot of money, and the people who are almost dying.
Yes.
Some think that when you write a will, it's a covenant with death, that you are going to die. No, you don't need to have a lot of money. Whatever little you have is actually, do you want, when you pass on, in the unlikely event that happens, the people you leave behind, your brothers and sisters, your parents, or your spouse and children, to have any conflict? Or to worry where somebody you lent money, was your debt? Some of these things you write them down. And for your information, we review a will from time to time. Yes. It is simply a statement showing of intention, how you want your property or wealth to be apportioned to the people you love. If indeed you love them, you must have a will. Yeah. If you don't, you are cheating yourself. Wow. Some people think that, okay, God is, why should I write a will? God knows. No, God has his place and purpose in our life. Don't renege on your responsibility and think that you can go unpunished. No, there is no shortcut to that. Also having what we call a company. Yeah, the legal entity that protects your work. Yeah. That is very important. Paying taxes. Yeah, that is very important. Yeah.
Acquiring personal financial education.
Good.
Financial tips for different age groups.
Well, we are there.
And conclusion, stepping into the future. The
financial tips is there. This book is for everybody.
Yeah.
In fact, between 20 and 30.
Yes.
I believe that is where the youngsters lie.
Yes.
There are tips there. 30 to 40, financial tips for that. 20 to 30 is laying the foundation.
Yeah.
Here, the youngster has all the time at his or her disposal. Yeah. And here you have to get it right. Okay, you have to try different things, like Jack Ma says. Yeah. Do different things. Yes. Fall down, rise up. Rise up. So that when you are in the 30s, you are now narrowing down to what you like, what you do best. And this is where you have a family, children start coming up, expenses increase, you take now insurance, start saving, take education, insurance. Insurance, one way, by the way, of protecting your property. Insurance, talk about life policy, policies for your children, and so on.
Now, this is the reason why I started these conversations, because in this country, we don't celebrate leaders like yourself, If I ask Kenyans to give me books about money, the first person they're going to name is Robert Kiyosaki, Babylon.
The Richest Man, Babylon by George Clason.
But here is a man who's written a book about money, mastering your money.
And it's a practical guide, but a manual. A step-by-step personal financial guide.
A Kenyan. From a Kenyan, because things are different. So, for example, so before I even give the examples, where can someone find this book?
Yes, before we come to that, you have talked of when you ask a Kenyan, who say maybe reach that bit because they have heard of it, they see it in the street. Here in acquiring personal financial education, that is maybe chapter 15 of the book, I've given top 20 personal financial books from my perspective, both written by Kenyan authors and others from other parts of the world, because I felt I should mix. Yes. Yeah, there are many. Right. Even some of my mentors have written that you don't need a job by Dr. Bichang'a. Washeke Ndwati she trained me on personal finance, making sense. Many others. So they are their top 20. And if you go to further reading at the end, so many of them. So that if you are wondering where to study from, the book is a guide. Somebody said it's a recipe, in fact. It's more than a personal financial man. Where can you find the book? In fact, the book can be found, Mastering Your Money, a practical guide in your journey to financial freedom, is available online. In fact, when you Google, you go to the website, www.chachanomics.muzizi.com. Muzizi is MZIZZI. Chachanomics at muzizi.com. Yeah, you can also go to my website, chachanomics.co.ke, chachanomics.co.ke. So this book, actually, we are partnered with Muzizi. It can be delivered at your doorstep. Okay, the book goes at 1,000 shillings, but for being sent to where you are, there are little extra charges. By the way, what you pay for that is a token. If something that helps you now to handle your money, how to save and make much more, should pay it much more, but we know where we are coming from.
I wanted to say that it's only 1,000 shillings and you get a lifetime of knowledge.
Equally, you can go to the YouTube channel, Chachanomics, YouTube channel, just type Chachanomics, you see a few clips there. Facebook, we have Chachanomics fan base. Also, we have my page, Chacha Nyaigoti Bichang'a, which is also equally found in Twitter. So the bottom line, the key word here is Chachanomics. Chachanomics.
Anyway, you type Chachanomics, utapata
it deals with money.
It's 1,000 shillings, man. And you have financial freedom for the rest of your life.
In fact, somebody says, the Chinese say, a journey over 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So by making that single significant step to acquire this book and read and apply the lessons, then you will be able to complete the journey over 1,000 miles.
Now, as I'm still in your office now and you're still advising me, so interestingly, only about 17% of the Kenyan population is, what do we call them, white collar jobs? You know, where they're paid a salary at the end of every month. The other 83%, sisi ni watu wa jua kali sector, including myself, where we don't have regular income. Sisi inakuanga kuhustle. Ama kuna mtu kama mechanic ama a tout mwenye do yake ni hiyo tu, hiyo yenye atapata hiyo siku, ama mama mboga. So how do you advise someone like that, like me?
Somebody like you, okay, as you put it, 83% are in the self-employment, 17 in the maybe government or private sector. So for a person who is self-employed, you have not the basics about the money are the same. It doesn't matter whether you are employed by the government or private sector or you are in your own business. You need to become your own CEO. CEO of your money, managing your money in the right way. In this case, you need to know if you are in a consulting private business, how much is your business making? Where do you want to take your business in 5-10 years? You set your financial goals. You have to analyze, understand the financial position of the business. One key thing you need to remember, separate your business from your money. Separate. They have two different books of account even. You have to separate this. If you're in your business here, you are an employee of that business and you should pay yourself a salary commensurate to the work you do and the income. If you want to earn more, you work harder so that you get paid more. And that is better. You know, you are a profit, it is actually wages. In fact, you become your own boss. In fact, you have the privilege. That's why we have 83%, the majority, driving the economy. So once you are able now to move your business to the next level, you have to have set goals, have somebody holding you accountable, have a coach, have an expert on how you can take the business to the next level. You have to get your finances right, get the systems, manage your business right, the human resource component right. Yeah. So make sure that actually the businessman and your money, they separate on different accounts. The records are different. Yeah, so that you don't mix up. You should pay yourself. The idea of saying that this is my business, na sasa unajinyima, ukiwa na shida unaenda unatoa, is because you don't pay yourself a salary. Yeah. So that now it is clear how hard should you work to be paid more. Yeah. So these people should know how now to manage their money and actually work towards taking the business transit to the next level. Personal financial skills very important, and the business financial skills very important. They go hand in hand.
So we've talked a lot about personal financial skills, but for a gentleman of your caliber to even write a book, then you must have also another skill called, I call it timekeeping, or just boxing in your time. And I'm curious how your days like. Are you the type of person who plans your entire day, your entire month, or do you just wing it? How do you go?
When you are into different personal development, you get to learn this. There's actually what we call the B5 daily routine, the rituals.
All right.
I have actually what we call rituals. My day begins at 4 a.m. every day. I don't use an alarm. My mind actually is an alarm. Even when I'm going on a journey, the disadvantage, actually, I go to bed early. Yeah. Actually, by 10, ideally, I should have gone. When I extend, I know I'm doing a disservice to myself because my mind will wake me up at 4. A few minutes earlier or after sometimes. So I begin the day like with a prayer and with affirmation, positive affirmations. The first read, I actually read the Bible and share and actually listen to the preaching and actually share also. And then move to, I can read something for personal development, or if there is something that needs surgery, whatever, I look at it. After that, before I freshen up, I exercise, and after exercising, then I get ready to go maybe and teach, to do what I'm supposed to do for the rest of the day. Yeah. So, in fact, as I've said, prayer, affirmation, we have also, it goes with the reflection after that, as slight meditation. There is the reading, can be maybe the spiritual, I have to do the Bible. There is exercising and doing the rest. And at the end of the day, there is also the rituals for winding up. There are a few affirmations at the end. I schedule my day the day before it begins in the evening. Yeah, in fact, before the day begins, I have actually to ensure that I analyze what I said actually it may be done, not done, why it was not done, and whatnot, and then plan for tomorrow, looking at the engagement I have and so on. But there are those that are constant. The daily rituals must be done. Yeah. Come rain, come sunshine, they have to be done.
Wow. I think every person who sat here, each one of them, they plan their day. They wake up early and their day is planned. They, in fact, plan their day before. As in, roadmap your success from where I'm sitting, I think it's very simple and straightforward. It's a matter of planning, because every leader I've read about, every person I've sat with here, they plan. And yeah, I think with every episode of this, okay, there's a similarity in everyone takes care of their health, everyone plans, and it's they're very intentional on learning and empowering themselves. Yeah. Chacha, thank you so much. This is amazing. I don't know if there's something you want to leave your people with,
What I would want to emphasize is that the journey to attaining personal financial freedom, the journey to mastering your money, as I've said, is neither straightforward nor easy, nor rocket science. But it requires steady determination, requires perseverance, requires dedication and that focus. And as I've actually put it, you have to be intentional in acquiring the right knowledge and skills, in investing in yourself. Before also you invest in others. Yes. Before you invest in others. Investing for others or for your own comes much later. Number 3.
You cannot pour from an empty cup.
Yes. You have to first invest in yourself, then you invest in others, then invest for others. Yes. And as I've said, mastering your money involves also actually giving back. You can't give what you don't have. You must learn to manage what you are blessed with, and then you start now giving. A donation to charity. Pick a cause. What is dear to your heart? Maybe is it education? Is it helping the needy, the disenfranchised, socially underprivileged in the society? And help, give back. Giving is also an art and a skill we learn and develop. So it is never late. It's never late. Neither is it too early. The moment you get this, the moment you get that it's the moment you get to learn that this is important. You start immediately. Don't delay. Take positive steps. It is a journey of unlearning all habits. You don't unlearn all habits easily. You unlearn and then start learning new one to replace old ones and relearn even what you have learned. So it is doable, it is easy, but some easy things usually they not done.
Yes.
Let us learn to do the simple things, the easy things that we take for granted, and the rest be history.
Lesson of the day, ladies and gentlemen, count your money every day. Account for every shilling, man. It's the only way we're going to master our money. Mastering Your Money by Chacha Nyaigoti Bichang'a. Man, get this book. Get this book. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Be blessed.
All right. Yes, sir.